And on behalf of everyone here at Scheels, we just want to say thank you because we're so grateful for all that you do for our community.
Please.
So thank you so much.
There are some really good people in Southeast Minnesota. But when someone asked me who I thought should be a hometown hero, it was easy. It was an easy question. It was Kevin Torgerson. Through his work with Special Olympics, through being the sheriff and being a great sheriff and being a personable sheriff and being a personable face of Olmsted County.
Born in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Family life was mom and dad, and there was 5 boys in the family. And then we had the youngest was a sister. The oldest 4 of us were all born within 5 years of each other. A lot of competitiveness between all of us, and you know, roughhousing on the farm and all of that. So you know, it was a good life. It was hard work. You know, he got up and he'd work in the morning and help Dad with the dairy farm. So you know, you're pretty much married to the farm and married to the cows. And so learned real early on about long days and hard work.
When it comes to Kevin, it's his faith, his family, and law enforcement. And law enforcement is family too.
Kevin is loud. Kevin is proud of who he is. Kevin is a giver of his time. And I think one of the reasons that people are so drawn to him is because he gives up his time so freely. No matter who you are, if you need a chunk of his time, he's going to give it. He is probably the busiest person I have ever met in my life, but he also gives a larger percentage of his time to other people with no expectation of anything in return than I've ever met in my life.
We were able to buy a house northwest part of Rochester. Again, it was just the convenience thing, and our kids were little. And then I started getting more involved as patrol deputy and seeing the cities and stuff like that. And then I became a DARE officer, which really changed everything for me. The DARE program really, for a big part of me, changed my focus to some degree and really focused on the one part of what I do today, and that is try to constantly find avenues where law enforcement is viewed in a different light. And I think that's something that is so huge today, that we keep doing things that are supportive of our communities, not just in our communities doing what people expect us to do, but be part of the community and really be involved in it in ways that we're expected to do, but also in ways that we're not expected to do.
So we organized the torch run, tried to get other runners together. I know a couple of times at the tail end of a 45-mile length from Rochester to Owatonna, it would be just the 2 of us driving his squad car, and the other one would be running and carrying the torch, and then he'd get out and run and I'd drive his car.
Then it was like, oh, well, we can do it out here in Olmsted County. So then they started a torch run from Rochester. Him and KCE said, oh, well, we can do the Polar Plunge. So then they started the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics.
Then November of 1991 became one of the original 16, we call ourselves, of the State Memorial Honor Guard, and finished the last, I think it was the last 9 of it, as the commander of the team. When I became commander, I was, you know, just a sergeant here, but yet when you become the commander of the Liam Honor Guard, you're that guy that has full responsibility of how that funeral is planned and happens, where within a matter of days, 5,000 cops and community members and others, and potentially national media is going to be shining right on you and your team to provide the best send-off to this officer who has died in the line of duty.
There are some people that, when you think of a town, you think of that person. Every community has that. You think of Stewartville, I think of Kevin as a part of that. When I think of Kevin, I think of Stewartville. He's received a huge amount of support, not only in his current role as sheriff, but support in all of the volunteer activities that he leads and that he takes part in as well.
My hero? A lot of people. There's not just one. It's too hard for me. Every officer, there's names on the wall. Every pin that I have in that plaque, their families, several of our Special Olympic athletes, my wife, my kids, my dad. It's not any just one person. Throughout my life, I've looked up to my two older brothers and my dad, and you know, I've always wanted to be like them, achieve like them, and do those kinds of things. But then in my law enforcement time, there's no question it's ultimately the officers that have died and their families.